Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to all of you. So now we are going to cover your chapter 5, which is the last chapter for your quiz 1. Alright. So chapter 5 is called communication. So basically when there is a communication, of course, we have to have communicator, orang yang initiate the communication. So the process of accomplishing these strategies or tactics is often called communication. A communicator is expected to have good communication skills. So these are the things that govern a communicator. The first one is message exposure, accurate dissemination, acceptance of the message, attitude change, and last but not least, change in overt behavior. Okay, as I have mentioned to you before this, these are the objectives of the communicator. The first one is message exposure, where your task is to expose the message to the public. PR personnel provide materials. Materials here refer to your press write-up, your newsletter to the media, and media will disseminate information through various channels. Intended audience are exposed to the message in various forms. Again, as I mentioned to you before this, the audience can get the message via newspaper, via your own internal communication, via billboard, flyers, brochure, you name it, right? As long as you expose the message, that is what we call message exposure. Then kita ada accurate dissemination, meaning to say that you have to be truthful in your message. Do not alter the information. If let's say you are not being ethical, you might change a bit the message so that you can capture the attention of the public. Then kita ada acceptance of the message. So based on its view on reality, the audience, the public will not just retain the message and they will try to accept the message. For example, oh, okay, I'll take it. This is quite a valid news. Okay, that is the mindset where the public has accepted the message. Then dia akan lead kepada attitude change. Meaning to say that based on the message that they have received, they will make like a mental ataupun verbal commitment. For example, okay lah, aku rasa esok aku akan berubah based on the campaign jangan merokok. So basically, the public has obliged to change their behavior. Dia obliged, dia tak change lagi. Because the last stage is what we call change in overt behavior. Meaning to say that members of the audience actually change their current behavior to purchase the product or use it. Okay, kalau dalam konteks kita bagi campaign campaign jangan merokok. So change in overt behavior, overt means something that is visible. So macam kita boleh nampak orang tu macam dia ni dah dulu merokok, sekarang tak merokok. So meaning to say that that particular public or audience dah change in their overt behavior, something that they walk the talk, right? Okay, next, when we talk about audience, we have two types of audiences here. We have passive audience and we have active audience. So when we talk about passive audience passive audience ni macam they will rely just on the message. So when they just rely on the message by the organization or by the agency need to be appealing, need to be interesting enough because that would capture their attention. In comparison to active audience ni dah lama pun active kan. So bila dia dapat message tu, he or she will go to the extra mile and dig for more information so that he or she can know more about that particular news or update. Passive audience just rely without asking anyone or without doing any other research. But active audience, once they have gotten the message, they will go to the extra mile and they will try their very best to get more information. Okay, next we are going to discuss how people act on message. So basically, it's very, very difficult to get people to act on the message. All right. So again, the ultimate purpose of us telling someone or conveying a message is to make sure that they act on it. So one key to understanding how people accept new ideas is to analyze the adoption process. So basically kita ada 5. We have awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. So basically these are the adoption process. We have 5 altogether. We have awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. So when we talk about awareness, a person becomes aware of an idea or perhaps a new product. So how do we know? How do we make ourselves aware of it? Bila kita baca advertisement, bila kita terlampak iklan on WhatsApp or Facebook. So bila kita nampak iklan, automatically kita akan cakap, we will be made aware of this product and services. Then kita ada interest. The individual seeks more information about the idea. So basically, once you have made yourself aware of a certain product and services, if it triggers you, if let's say the product interests you, then basically you will dig for more information. How do you want to dig for more information? You order a brochure, or perhaps you Google what are in the other information that you need in order for you to know about that product. Then kita ada evaluation. The person evaluates the idea or product on the basis on how it meets specific needs and want. Feedback from friends and family is part of this process. Of course, we don't even have the product right in front of us. So what you do to evaluate is for you to read some reviews, feedback or testimonial. So that could be served as your evaluation. Then kita ada trial. Next, the person tries the product or the idea on experimental basis by using a sample, witness a demonstration, or making qualifying statement such as I hear this product and it's good and I would like to give it a try. So basically tiba-tiba you pergi kat satu supermarket tu, you nampak orang try that particular product. So basically you want to try that as well. The moment you want to try that, automatically you are making qualifying statement because you akan kata, I've heard about this product dekat Facebook ataupun kat WhatsApp group and can I just try it? So that is what we call qualifying statement. Then adoption. So the individual begins to use the product on a regular basis or integrates the idea into his or her belief system. So once you have went through awareness, interest, evaluation, and trial, last but not least, adoption is where you have the product right in front of your eyes. So it is time for you to use it. Okay, remember that I mentioned about evaluation of product or idea. So basically, these are the factors that could trigger us on evaluating a product or services. We have relative advantage, we have compatibility, we have complexity, we have trialability, and last but not least, we have observability. So when we talk about relative advantage, it is actually to the degree where an innovation is perceived as better than the initial idea. Okay, meaning to say that you have an idea about this particular product and services, and when it comes out, and produk ni lagi bagus daripada aku fikirkan. So meaning to say that the actual product is even way better than your initial thought. That is what we call relative advantage. Then kita ada compatibility. The degree to which an innovation is perceived as being consistent with the existing values, experience, needs and want. Of course, we want something in our life, we have our needs and want. And that particular product akan jadi compatible dengan kita if that product jive with our need. If let's say at that particular point of time, you want to eat mee goreng, and tiba-tiba you nampak iklan mee goreng and you want to buy it because it is compatible with your current need and want. When we talk about experience, need and want, right, sometimes it changes, you see. So compatibility ni it plays with your situation. Then kita ada complexity. Sometimes when the product is difficult for you to comprehend or for you to understand, you will deem the product as not suitable with your taste because it's so difficult for you to understand on how to use it. That is what we call complexity. The more complex the product, the less likely for you to choose that product to be part of your life. Then kita ada trialability, the degree to which an innovation may be experienced on a limited basis. Mean to say that Uniqlo, if I'm not mistaken, they have this idea where you can use that particular baju or seluar for a period of time as long as you tak cabut dia punya price tag, as long as it's still in the good condition, you can still replace the baju. I think until now they are still having it, I guess. And last but not least, observability, the degree to which the results of innovation are visible to others. Again, this is where you observe whether this particular product is good or not. How do you observe? By looking at other people. Okay, orang ni pakai macam mana? For example, if let's say orang ni punya good testimonial, mean to say that the innovation are visible to others via testimonial or feedback. Okay, you observe that. From your observation, it could be one of the factors on how you can evaluate the product, idea, or services. Okay. Now we're going to discuss about accomplishing the tactics. So we have, of course, we have learned before this, you have strategy and you have tactics. So basically, in order for you to achieve the tactics, all right, you have to observe these 6 factors as it would assist you to accomplish your goals, definitely. All right. Okay. There are 6 factors, as I mentioned to you before this. We have delegation, we have deadlines, we have quality control, we have communication with the team, communication with clients and supervisors, and last but not least, we have constant evaluation. So when we talk about delegation, right, it is a very simple concept where you have to delegate your tasks accordingly. All right. You have to delegate the responsibility for a tactics execution to a particular individual. For example, your assignment. Okay, chapter 1, siapa buat? Chapter 2, siapa buat? So that is how you delegate your task, because by delegating your task, it will make your task easier to accomplish if you are working in a good team. All right. With every tactic in a written plan, include the responsible individual's name to keep track on the progress and avoid blaming game. Again, we cannot run away from blaming game. That is why, again, when we delegate the task properly, we would know siapa yang responsible for which task. Then kita ada deadline. So in written plan, establish a deadline for completion for each tactic. The assigned person for each tactic is responsible for meeting the deadline. Again, by having a deadline, it will make us more organized in accomplishing the tactics. Without a deadline, we tend to be swayed by another external factors that could distract us from accomplishing the task. Then kita ada quality control. Conduct quality control. Have more than one editor and proofreader to examine every message, including materials on social media. Meaning to say that you have to have someone who is expert in that particular field to cross-check your work, whether this is good to go or not. Without having cross-checking, sometimes we tend to be shocked sendiri in the sense that we think that our kerja dah bagus. But in actual reality, it is not. So again, quality control is to have someone who is good in that particular area to check your work. Then kita ada communication with the team. Again, when you are working in a team, it's very, very important for you to communicate on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis just for you to get the update. Because sometimes when you communicate, you will be able to identify what are the problems, and from the communication itself, you'll be able to mitigate the problem. Communication with clients and supervisor. Again, you have to communicate frequently with the client or your supervisor, because sometimes when you communicate with your supervisor or your client, they will know what are your current progresses. All right. So of course, when you present to them any problem from the communication with the team, of course, you are expected to present solution. You cannot just be presenting your problem without telling them what to do. And last but not least, constant evaluation. You have to evaluate the process as it progresses. When you conduct an event, sometimes whether or not kita nak tahu benda tu bagus ke tidak, sometimes news akan buat coverage. Kalau news tak buat coverage, mean to say that benda tu tak terlampau verganza. Again, kalau tak ada news coverage pun, people will be talking about it. So that is how you evaluate. If let's say there are people talking about it, whether it be good or not, at least you can use that to evaluate your event or your plan. So again, you have to gather some feedback from internal and external stakeholders. Sometimes feedback will assist you to further improve your work. Even let's say lah tiba-tiba korang katakan, alah sir, kita punya program ni kecil-kecil je. So tak adalah nak buat media kan. Okay, fine. This is good. But again, get some feedback from your intended audience, which is your beneficiaries and of course your boss or your supervisor, because sometimes they can observe and they can know what are the things for you to improve. And that's it for your chapter 5. Bye.